Hello everyone, this is Uxali speaking. In the quest for the best weapon for my mesmer, I have stumbled upon a Dredge who told me to use stuff. Well, who am I to deny a Dredge? Okay, and slightly more seriously. This is a fight where I'm using Scepter Pistol, and we chose both the strengths and pitfalls of this set. Scepter Pistol has a very reliable stun, deals pretty nice damage, but synergizes much better with Celestials than Berserkers, which I'm using in this fight. What it does not have is area denial, and aside of this stun, anything to stop your opponents. It also doesn't have any mobility or way to disengage. So after the first initial approach we have made against the camp, even if you have managed to down an Elementalist, we were unable to use it to actually stomp him. The strengths and weaknesses of Scepter Pistol set were shown better in the previous video I have made. I think it was named Scepter with Pistol or Sword. In case you haven't seen it, this fight kind of recaps the previous video. So what Scepter Pistol does very well is Shutdown. Approaching this Elementalist using Pistol 5 and Duelist lets me stun him for 2 seconds. It's enough for Talvani to be able to unleash the damage. A Glass Elementalist has been downed almost instantly. Then I think he panicked because he used Vapor Form while he was in the safest place possible. This, combined with my curtain, made it so nobody could help him when I stomped him. An ability to create this type of assassination is kind of a staple of Pistol, really, and combined with Signet of Domination, this is an absolute shutdown. But what Scepter Pistol does not give me at all is defenses, especially defenses against attacks from different sides, different sources. If you remember that moment when there were guards on me and I had to reset the fight, I had to double dodge. I couldn't simply rely on weapon defenses at all. Technically, Pistol 5 is a very good defense skill. Practically, you don't want to use it as one. Here, Pistol is used as interrupt to stop enemy from rezzing Fallen Warrior. As Pistol 5 has long cooldown, I simply don't want to use it as defensive skill against a guard. It is more of a utility skill than defense skill. Now, after I have managed to rally because enemy warrior fell down because vengeance ran out, situation is much better at this point. Enemy ranger focused Talvani, not me, even if I can't really hide in a warden because guards will kill my warden before he stops the attacks from enemy ranger. And here, Scepter as a brawling weapon shines. Block deals damage and torment. Enemy doesn't follow with rapid attacks, so I have the time to use Pistol 5, and then I charge the ranger and blink heal away. Those blocks are very vulnerable to fast hitting attacks, but they are very strong against slow hits. And to reiterate, Scepter Pistol Sword Focus work as a set, but what they lack is defenses. If I used Decoy, it would work very well, but in this particular fight I can't really do much. Note that even if enemies are not really using crowd control skills, I can't shake them off me. And even if Scepter Sword has even more blocks than Scepter Pistol does, this set doesn't give me adequate defenses to be able to hold against Assault. This wasn't really a problem in the previous fight, because Elementalist and Ranger weren't configured to be brawlers. The reason I have changed this stuff to a different weapon was that more ranged players and more conditions were flying around. But right now, the meta seems to be returning to the previous state. I don't see a lot of glassy longbow rangers anymore, so I had to change equipment to deal with the most popular opponent I have to face. So for rangers I've got focus, for melees I've got staff. But why staff of all weapons? Simply because staff offers me insane amount of defenses and mobility. In this fight I am revisiting Elegance build with Drew. Bountiful interruption, chaotic interruption, but totally no points in domination line. So much worse on stripping, but I can self-generate a lot of mites on this one. For me personally, Bountiful Interruption is one of the game-changing traits. I can't take Boon Shutter, Bountiful Interruption and Traded Focus though. And with the rise of a ranger, trading my focus is kind of a must. With Elementalists and Guardians being a staple of World vs World right now, stripping boons kind of becomes the most important thing ever. So something had to give, and it was Bountiful Interruption. Now, what you see here is why I dropped this stuff in the first place. I have wasted Warlock and Chaos Storm. Well, I haven't played this stuff for a while. But the point is, when I am on staff, I can't really do anything if I want to chase an opponent. Staff turns me into a very short-range player. This means that I am actually vulnerable to kiting rangers and kiting stealthy mesmers with greatsword. In a way that's good. If you noticed, every build I can design, everything I can actually devise, has a counter in some kind of opponent. Now, remember when I said that stuff can't really do anything against opponents whom I want to chase, but that is why I have a curtain as well. Gw2 is trying to drop aggro from two players, so I'm able to use curtain to cripple them and then pull them to me. Notice how this fight looks like. Our opponents are trying to catch us, but they are not really using heavy crowd control skills. I can chain blink and stuff 2, and stuff 2 is on 8 or 10 second cooldown. Not only it gives me clone which can be shattered, it is a mobility defense skill which synergizes with my native mobility defense skills and traveler runes. The difference is, if enemies want to get to me in close range, I can simply stay away, even if immobilized. Note that if I did not have a staff in this particular fight, I would be focused and killed much earlier. Mesmer needs some defenses. As I am not using stealth, that really my only possible defense is mobility. Well, mobility and crowd control, to be exact. But the only weapon on a mesmer which gives you proper mobility is a staff. So it seems as long as I have decided to play as I do, unless I play very cautiously, I kind of have to go sword, focus and stuff. Unless the meta changes again. Now, the fight with rangers here, us 2 versus them 3, should show you the negative implications of using stuff against rangers. They are the one who can escape at will, I am the one who needs to catch them, and in the terrain we are fighting there is no option to line of sight them. So I had to go down. But the point is, I don't mind. I have managed to give Gw2 time to stomp one opponent. And now it is a ranger plus a mesmer who has reflects versus 2 rangers. This fight also leads me towards another problem I have. I am not completely sure that with the meta change I should be still using Berserker Gw2. I mean, look at this. I am not really a burster. I am a support, an offensive support hybrid. My role is reflects and boon strips. I can add some AoE pressure and some DPS pressure, but I will never match a DPS class. And I need to be in the middle of the fight. As every class has some invulnerabilities, and I do not play 1 versus 1 a lot, this means perhaps I should return to Celestial Gw2. Of course, with Berserker makes sense. In this fight I was peacefully murdering the camp, and a scary condition warrior came to kill me. The only problem is I didn't know I am fighting a condition warrior, so he managed to down me. Now, I've got a secret. In the quest for optimizing damage and defenses for evil, I have stumbled upon the trait called Triumphant Distortion. And Triumphant Distortion not only makes it so that phantasms will manage to work, but with Blood Frenzy and Distortion Shatter it can be chained for pretty nice invulnerability time. Warriors tend to have slow attacks which deal enormous damage. I need to deal with scouts and then use some reflex against the warrior. Note how the curtain made it so that warrior dealt himself torment and burns. This is one of the reasons I'm thinking about Celestials, to be honest. With food I've got plus 70% condition duration. Warden can stack 8 to 12 bleeds on its own. Some mites, some reflects could be quite beneficial in terms of damage. So, if I have a Fury, I'm using it. In this fight I'm fighting a very competent mesmer and I am in Celestials with Berserker mix-ins. Coat and legs are Berserker. I have taken a 250 camp, but my opponent doesn't want me to get it. What I am facing is a Bountiful Interruption Phantasm Mesmer who uses Mantra of Distraction to generate Bountiful Interruption boons and mites. And he uses the scariest phantasms of all, so the Swordsman. Note how if he adds Decoy to the mix, this set he's using, Staff and 2 Swords, works perfectly. And note how much Bountiful Interruption makes a difference when we are talking about Mesmer versus Mesmer. I am bone stripping him all the time, yet he always has some mites. This Mantra of Distraction thing is a fascinating design. I have never seen using Mantra of Distraction to generate boons from clones before. Note that even if I am in Celestial Gw2, that the damage I am dealing is not that much lower than the damage I had in Berserkers. A kind of a reason for that is of course condition damage, but also mites which come from Sigil of Battle. Of course I lost Sigil of which could crit for about 2000. In this fight he doesn't really need to fight me at all. He needs to kite me, and let the swordman rip me apart. It is a really fun duelist build, which actually shows why I don't like mantras. I've got interrupts of my own, and he cannot charge the mantra because I never give him time. So, although the fight has been very nice, the third party's scouts started to respawn. So yeah, I ran away. If this duel persisted, he would win it. Thank you for watching, Uxal is out.